And for more on the confrontation in Crimea, let's bring in Ken Yalowitz. He's twice served as a U.S. ambassador, once to Belarus and once to Georgia. Ambassador Yalowitz, thank you for joining us on our program.
Thank you.
Russian forces have seized control of the Belbek airbase in Crimea. Now, this continues to be a very volatile situation. What's next for Russian President Vladimir Putin? Does he want eastern Ukraine? Is he testing the waters there?
I think it's very much testing the waters. I don't think that there's any strategic plan, if you will, other than taking Crimea, which he's already accomplished. I think what goes on from here will depend in good part on what the Western reaction is and whether or not Mr. Putin becomes convinced that the price is too great to keep going. But he clearly has the assets in place on the Russian border to intervene in case there are quote-unquote threats to Russians in that area, the same pretext that they used in Crimea.
Ambassador, what will it take to actually hurt Russia economically? Talking about tougher sanctions, possibly with the western part of Europe cutting back imports of oil and gas?
Yes, I think these second round of sanctions that have just been announced, which are affecting those who are closer to Putin himself, as well as certain banks and credit card companies, those are the things. They're not going to change what's already happened, but they certainly are causing thought on the part of the Russian leadership. Financial markets are already beginning to react negatively, but there's no doubt in my mind that the most significant reaction would be in the area of imports of Russian gas, and there it depends on the Western European countries. I have heard that they have supplies of gas, in reserve, and that they could actually go forward and do this. But my understanding also is that the West Europeans are waiting to see if the Russians go further and actually come into eastern Ukraine. I myself think that stronger steps are needed on the economic side, though.
And this will have an impact on the West as well, though.
Yes, it will. But to be effective, sanctions really have to affect both sides. To affect the Russians, they're going to also have to do some harm on the Western side. And given the integration of economies, globalism, the way things are all interwoven today, there's no way that economic sanctions affecting Russia would not also hurt the West. But I have no doubt in my mind that the impact will be greater on Russia. More than 50% of their budget income comes from exports of oil and gas, and I think that they are really unable to sustain that kind of a loss rather than, as compared to Western Europe, which can buy their gas elsewhere.
Ambassador Ken Yalowitz, thank you so much for your time today.